Good day, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in to my show today. Going to have an excellent show ahead of us. I've got a couple amazing, potentially legit Sasquatch videos that I'm going to review. And then I've got a complete and utter absolute hoax that I want to talk about today. In fact,
come on! Go get you some!
wow, pretty terrifying sound. So we're going to do an analysis of that and some videos and a whole bunch more. So let's have some fun and get right into it. So as promised, there's going to be three different sequences. One's going to be a definitive 100% for sure hoax, pile of crap, lie. We'll talk about that. And then two videos that I really like. I find them very interesting. So first one I'm going to look at right now was sent to me from Ontario is where it was filmed. This is actually from Native people. So what's this video is apparently a hunter was out. He was scouting out the caribou. In the background, you'll see this black, dark figure. Very curious to me because the two. This is a photograph, and the video that I'm going to show you after this is very much related to this and I've seen this quite a few times too, where I'll be filming wildlife, and there'll be a Sasquatch off in the background, or potentially a Sasquatch. So it's very interesting to see them in and around wildlife. On this one, what's pretty significant to me, is that this Sasquatch is not a big male. And when the males are in their teenage years, I've seen this quite a bit in authentic footage that I've reviewed in the past and been boots on the ground and had a look at. The males' bodies look odd when they're not fully grown, probably at the age of like 12, 13, 14, not unlike my son, who has feet the same size as mine, but he's only 5'8" and I'm 6'3". He's $140 and I'm 230 pounds, and he has the same size feet. So not nearly as broad in the shoulders or thick through the body, obviously, because he's growing. And I kind of see that here with this particular Sasquatch photograph that we're looking at. And what rings authentic to me, besides, the fact that this was done by Native people, obviously there's going to be Sasquatch in Ontario. I've never seen a Sasquatch in Ontario, but I've had many people that I trust and think are amazing, tell me that there are Sasquatch in Ontario. The habitat certainly is going to allow for it. And so you see a caribou in this photograph, you see the Sasquatch, you see a potential arm. But again, most importantly, when I talked to this particular lady who shared this photograph with me, they went back and saw tracks on the ground. So she's not sure if she has photographs of it, but photographs of tracks are really hard for me to decipher. I'm such a boots on the ground guy. I need to see the organicness of them. I think I could really be fooled by tracks in many ways. And, just even to the point of, someone gets a decent casting like this, makes a couple of decent tracks, and through photographs, you could certainly fool me, but not in real life. I'm going to have a look at this, and I'm going to see this on the ground. I'm going to see the lack of organic, dynamic movement in the foot, and I'm going to know that this is a fraudulent or real track based on what I can see organically. So that's really important to me. And then, of course, the number one thing is, what they say the same thing I say. Come on out and let's have a look. Come on out. There's a Sasquatch here. They've actually got a whole idea of when they're migrating, when they're moving. So they have a significant amount of evidence to pass on to me. And that, more than anything, speaks to me in the authenticity of this photograph. Even if it was a great photograph, even if it was something that could compete with the amazing Patterson footage, or even outdo my footage, people are always going to have their doubts. What's the most important thing by far is, can you take me out there? Can you show me? Can you provide more evidence? Is this going to be something that's repeatable? And that truly was the case with the Patterson footage at the time. Roger Patterson was out there doing that research because Other people had been seeing Sasquatch. He had that success because somebody had seen the Patterson female and a young Sasquatch days or weeks before. So that this was ongoing interactions with Sasquatch that were happening out in this particular area, which precipitated the greatest piece of Sasquatch footage to date, with the exception of potentially mine, arguably. So now I'd like to get into this next piece of footage that it's so interesting to me. So let's have a look at it. So I found it here. What really blows me away is, so I'm seeing decent, potentially authentic Sasquatch movement out of this individual. But there's a gray fox there, or possibly a coyote. I'm not 100% sure. But let's just say there's a gray fox there, and there's 3 deer, and then we see this deer bolt off in the direction that this either man in a suit or a Sasquatch is doing. That's not a bear. I'm really, really impressed with this because of the animals that are around. The footage is very poor. It's very blurry. But for you to have a fox there, a wild, like that's not a domesticated dog. That's a wild fox. Even if it's used to people, like these deer are obviously, let me rephrase, obviously habituated to human beings and not scared of them. But that still impresses me. You got 3 deer and a gray fox, and then a deer bolting off in a direction where a Sasquatch is walking. What I find as a truth is, when a Sasquatch hunts a deer or an elk, they go get them, they kill them. They don't really have trouble doing that. They have multiple different ways in which to go and harvest anything they want to eat, including prey animals. If this is a Sasquatch, he's in a passive zone. They're not afraid of him any more than elephants are afraid of gorillas. Than, any sort of ungulate in Africa is afraid of a gorilla, because gorillas are entirely vegetative, and the animals know that. But the gorilla is in a very specific mindset when he's moving around, and he's got a history of being in the area. And that energy that he projects and the mannerisms in which he moves does not scare the deer and the fox and so on. So that's what I see as the most impressively authentic thing about this footage. Is I see no holes in the way the Sasquatch moves. The color is on par, decent. It's not enormous for sure. So just based on what I can see, based on the size of the deer and the fox, I mean, it could be a man in a suit. But if it is, how they pulled off it's at the end of the day 4 deer and a gray fox to stand in good position while that footage was going on, seems it adds a significant amount of credibility to this piece of footage, which at the end of the day I'm impressed with. I think it's fantastic. And if this footage was really to impress me, I'd love to hear more about the backstory. I didn't procure this footage, so it came from somebody else, and I don't know the backstory, and I don't know if the people that are out there that film this are saying what I'd like to hear. Hey, come on out. Hey, come see the evidence. If it is legit Sasquatch, and that's amazing and fantastic, they filmed the Sasquatch, but it's something that has never happened before and never will happen again, it's useless to the discovery process. However, like I talked about in the previous piece of footage, those people have migratory expectations of the Sasquatch and how they come around in different sightings. It's repeatable, and they're saying, come out and they'll show me. If that's the case with this particular piece of footage, now it becomes an important part of the discovery process, which is entirely what I'm looking for. So it's good and it's fun to have the discussion about it, but at the end of the day, what's it going to do for the discovery process? So if you know whose footage this is, or if this is your footage, I would like to talk to you, to hear your backstory, and to see what you have to say, because I'll also tell you, I'm talking to a Cree native lady about the caribou footage that we saw in the beginning of this, and I'm just hearing the ring of truth, ring of truth, ring of truth, ring of truth. BSers, it just sounds like crap to me. They're not going to fool me for 2 seconds. When you don't know about the wilderness, when you're just some dumbass lying hoaxer, I'm going to read right through you. I'm going to see right through you, because I don't know. It doesn't take much for me to figure that stuff out most of the time. Which brings us into our absolute fake 100% hoax. I understand why people do this, because there are people that are just out there and they have problems, and they want to become famous, and they even want to derive monetary value for hoaxes that they do. So we'll have a look at this one, have a listen to the audio of it.
What the hell is that? Give your 45 out. It's right over there. See it? Holy shit.
And then this person actually, so this video is getting millions of views right now. What's it called? The Mikado, Michigan, and it's a fraud. It's a complete fake. So let's listen to part 2.
Come on! Come get you some! Sick of you! I'm right here! Come on!
Oh, he's so brave. Oh, he's going to pull out his 45. Oh, come and get some. Come and get some. Yeah, you're a liar. That's an Aztec whistle is what it's called. It's quite popular now. Joe Rogan put it on his freaking show. So here's a little video of a kid blowing the Aztec whistle. And then he just added some monster sounds on it. I learned this information from another person provided me with this. So it's just an absolute total hoax and fraud. Are you going to get some money out of it? Are you going to get some fame out of it? Is your TikTok, YouTube channel, Instagram going to blow up and now you can get advertising? At the end of the day, what I've learned from this, because this is something I can really speak from, all these Bigfoot shows, and I mean all of them, they came to me first. You really need to know that. Like, there's not one huge Bigfoot program. So I've been doing this since about 2005, 2006. I got worldwide headlines when I was doing the species protection issue for Sasquatch, where I was trying to get the Canadian government to recognize them through a petition that I had going on. But these shows always call me, and I'm talking, that $5 million bounty. There's even a show in litigation that lost to me because they stole my concept and my ideas. I was working with them and went with a different show. And I'll tell you, you know why these shows don't deal with me? Because I won't lie. Like, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Finding Bigfoot is a lying, deceitful show, and I can prove that just simply by when I was on the Finding Bigfoot show, and I didn't know that the show was fake and fraudulent at the time, and the producers knew me because before they cast the show, they asked me to do it, and I just said no, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, and they'll insinuate little things. Well, if we ever just added a little piece of footage, would that be okay? And I went, no. I'll tell them right straight, you fake something, you're a fraud, and I'll expose you, and I won't work with you anymore. I will literally, this is what I tell every single person I ever work with Sasquatch is, if you tick me off and if you cheat and if you lie, then I'll just do the squirrel discovery. I'll study squirrels. I think squirrels are amazing. I'll film squirrels. And you can't force me to film Bigfoot. You can't force me to go get success with Bigfoot because by definition, Sasquatch does not exist. And I've had lawyers from like Warner Brothers, Netflix, Discovery Channel sit down with me and they go, you're going to do this and this. I go, I'll work with you. Be good to me, because if I get you lying, cheating, stealing, if you're not paying me fair, then it becomes a squirrel discovery. And there's no amount of legal issues. You can't force me to go and do Sasquatch research because it doesn't exist any more than it's just not. I know they're real, but it's not accepted as real. So you can't force me to do that. And that pisses networks off. They want to know that they got people out there that'll cheat a little, that'll, fluff things up a little bit. I won't do that one little bit. And at the end of the day, people of integrity, and I can speak from the comparison between Survivor Man and Bear Grylls. Bear Grylls is a lying fraud cheat. So he doesn't know anything about survival. He's literally like an actor. He's a fraud. And the stuff that he teaches, like the wilderness experts I've worked with, they really have a hate on for the guy, and legitimately so. He squeezed water out of elephant dung and hospitalized himself and then he put it on the show, minus the fact that he hospitalized himself. He fake fishes, he fake hunts. It's all crap. If you do his survival, you will die. Like, it's so bad. And he is at the end of it. And Survivor Man is the exact opposite. I've worked with Survivor Man. Everything that man does is absolutely legit and truthful. He does whatever happens out there happens. Even working with me, we had more stuff happen off camera. He won't touch on that. Whatever happens on camera, we put out there. There was so much more that had gone on that was very convincing of the legitimacy of the work we were doing together, but it's not on camera. So the audience didn't get to see it, but we experienced it. So, but remember too, that Survivor Man is not nearly as popular as Bear Grylls. Literally, Bear Grylls is 20 times more popular, gets 20 times more audience because he's a liar and he's a fake and he's a fraud. He's been exposed for that. And people still keep watching him. People still love him. He's a fun, great guy. He's a good personality, but he's a liar. He's a fraud. He teaches bad survival. And, that sucks. That's literally legitimately the world we live in. So we end up with, if you go and pick up an Inquirer and you go pick up these tabloid magazines that paparazzi celebrities, and you think it sucks that the paparazzis are chasing around these celebrities, well, you support them. Don't support them, right? And that's really all we can do. Is at the end of the day, I hope that their lack of integrity fails them. So, you know, because what are the discovery is happening with Sasquatch, and all these people that did fake shows and lied and cheated and did this crap, propagated garbage. I would expect that history is not going to remember them at all. So, if that even matters. But I think what history will show, and what I hope is, the men and women of integrity that did good work and never lied and cheated, they'll be in the books, and they'll be the example. They'll be the ones that people inspire to be like, and that's really all we can do. So in the meantime, we deal with these hoaxes, we deal with these men and women that cry wolf and lie and cheat and steal and get their publicity, and it's just the nature of the beast in what we do, and it's unfortunate. But thanks for tuning in. Another video, more videos coming. Love what we're doing. The discovery of Bigfoot is happening 100%, and 2023 is going to be a banner year. I guarantee it. Stay tuned for more info. Take care of yourselves.